Good morning, everyone. This is Scott Davidson. I hope everyone has been enjoying this amazing spring. Each year, I am more impressed than the former to see how nature recovers from winter and bursts into bloom. There's a particular freshness and special color of green in the spring. My own personal springometer is this blood maple on my front porch. The tree was a gift from Brian Simmons and his staff, at the time from Fluid. It was in memory of my brother who had recently passed. It's great to have this daily reminder and see this plant spring to life this time every year. As we've acknowledged before, we have been experiencing our own kind of winter this past 6 months. Total applications went into decline the last quarter of last year and have not recovered. We can identify multiple causes, but no single root cause to this decline. There's no doubt that low fuel prices and the consequential decline of incentives are part of the problem. We've additionally been experiencing mild winters, and there's some effect by the recovering economy and hot house markets. We have indications that homeowners can be prioritizing remodels and aesthetic improvement over energy efficiency work. In some ways, instead of hunkering down, homeowners are moving on up. Right now, we're running something like half our expected home performance leads so far this year. This experience is similar to reports from regional and national organizations of softening in home performance. While we look to developments in regulation, carbon, and fuel pricing for future improvements, our expectation is that we can plan on this year's results to be less than volumes experienced the prior 2 years. On the bright side, for some contractors, seismic leads are equal to or greater than home performance leads at the moment. This is stimulated by limited FEMA dollars and the sense of homeowner urgency impacted by news articles and community awareness. The most obvious challenge for us today is the increasing cost of lead capture. A critical example is that the return on mail solicitations under partners' logos like the city has declined. Right now, it costs us a lot more to capture a lead than we can recover through contractor participation and energy trust support. So we're taking action, and I think it's important to share some of our strategies in how we're responding to current conditions. First, of course, in Habit will continue our marketing efforts and support for new home performance projects in the markets we currently serve, and we remain committed to equitable distribution of leads. Second, we're working hard with the City of Portland to move quickly on policy for energy use disclosure in real estate transactions. This looks good and is sure to have positive future impact on demand. Third, we're piloting an indoor air quality service offering and testing some new ideas with it. In this case, we are completing a home performance advisor consultation with each sign-up to better understand the customer pain points and connect them with the best solutions. Part of the pilot is conducting the IAQ assessments ourselves to better understand results and opportunities for contractor projects. Fourth, we're very sensitive to our costs. Among other things, we've been working hard to reduce participant acquisition costs. We're initiating changes to our website, aggressively testing other low-cost marketing strategies to enhance our direct mail program, and connecting directly with prospects in new and meaningful ways. Fifth, but not least, beyond delivery of home performance and related offerings under the Inhabit brand, we'll be increasing our efforts to win new projects in the form of grants or funded initiatives. We expect the nature of the work to be around the domain of homes, just as our current work is. Efficiency is our first focus, but other initiatives around health, safety, equity, and livability will also be in our scope. It's expected that much of this work will create opportunities for contractors. Some of it will also take the form of investigations that complement or set the stage for future work. One example is a recent grant received in Seattle to build a coalition around valuing carbon for the purpose of making progress in reducing the number of oil-heated homes in King County. So in closing, we don't expect the next 12 months to be easy. There'll be more explorations and changes ahead. Right now, there's pressure on the home performance market. Yet there are developments on the horizon that give us cause for hope, and we want to be there when they unfold. The residential sector continues to be considered the greatest resource for energy efficiency in the region. In the meantime, we need to keep trying new approaches, tighten our belt where necessary, and broaden our interests so we can deliver value today and be a meaningful part of that future. With that, I'll hand the meeting back to Ryan.
Great. Thank you so much, Scott. Appreciate you leading us off this morning and kind of painting the picture for current state and moving into the future here. So thanks for joining us this morning. Wendy, you're up next.
Okay. I just want to really quickly talk a little bit, add a little bit more color to some of the stuff that Scott mentioned that we are going to be trying in terms of modifying services to see, what might have some traction in the marketplace right now. So, what we're piloting a lot of different concepts, and we're testing several hypotheses and questions in our mind in those pilots. So we have this phone consult pilot where we're really, because we have the capacity to handle the current volume of applications, we're going to start directing most of our applicants through this pilot, where we're going to actually have a person-to-person screening with every one of our applicants. And so, the hypothesis that we're testing is can we really deliver a more highly valuable lead to you when we have done this person-to-person screening with every homeowner? The focus during the screening is going to be less on the building science and more on the customer and the customer pain points and interests, and figuring out what does this customer want to do. And it's also a great opportunity for us to pre-educate on our financing options. So theoretically, you could get delivered a customer that already knows exactly how they want to pay for a project, and how much the better for you. Moving on, in our IAQ pilot, which we are running, what we're trying to figure out there is what's the best delivery model. We are conducting 48-hour tests to try to determine what does that do for homeowners? What does that tell them? And we know that there's also the 30-minute tests out there. We're trying to understand the difference in value between those two tests. And then we're also testing a couple of different reporting models and how we get back to the homeowner and what we tell them about the results of their IAQ test, and trying to figure out what's going to inspire action. And Stephanie actually was our first customer moving through the IAQ pilot, and so she had a lot of good feedback for us already in that process. And then finally, we're moving towards a direct services pilot, and in this pilot, we would be, our home performance advisors would be conducting, a variety of different types of assessments, including the IAQ assessment, but also including our 100-point assessment. And we're trying to figure out, is there a market for just assessments? And then furthermore, what is the impact on conversions? When we deliver an assessment, and again, we get that upfront person-to-person contact with homeowners, can we sell them on a habit and then hand them over to you after they're already sold on that concept? So those are all the things that we are testing in the near future.
Wendy, thank you very much. Keeping things moving along. Steph, I know you've got a lot of content today, so it's all yours.
I'll try to keep it fast. Yes, as Wendy noted, I'm not only the VP of Communications, I'm also a customer. So I can talk a little bit about that when we get to the men's warehouse slide. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. I will stop bouncing off the walls. I will get serious. As Scott noted, obviously the decline in one of our main lead generation engines has been disconcerting and not frustrating. And so what I'm going to walk you through today is a lot of the insights and activities where we've redirected resources into other areas. Some as opportunities to test new messaging, others as ways to explore the new products that Wendy just cast, and also, keeping front of mind low-cost ways and getting in front of potential customers and encouraging them to take action. So I'm just going to run through a little bit of April, what we learned, and then how we'll be applying those efforts in the rest of Q2 and the remainder of the year. And I also want to note some new contractor resources that we anticipate will deliver a little more value add for you guys moving forward as well. So April, April is typically it's the shoulder season, so we already know from a seasonality perspective it's a little bit slower, but it's also the beginning of event season. So we really put that into high gear as a way to get right in front of customers and start having conversations about them. So just in the month of April alone, we were at 9 separate events, and this is everything from lectures on climate and sustainability and energy to neighborhood associations and employee wellness fairs, and really focusing and getting direct word out on the Inhabit service offering specifically, and then, more globally, how our value as a nonprofit delivers this trusted third-party resource. So, we've reached more than 700 people in these events. We've had about 500 conversations, and while it's not immediately delivering applications, what it is telling us is a lot about where the customer mindset is. And I will tell you, it's still primarily on seismic, and then there's a health and safety mix that seems to be really compelling to customers. Radon testing and seismic, not only are they lower price points, but there's a sense of urgency about those as solutions that homeowners are still really resonating with. Energy efficiency is it's just not making the phone ring, and so what we have been focusing efforts on is more around we're here when you're ready, and we have set up a variety of lead nurturing tools that I'll show you a little bit about, just so that we can keep the conversation going. So even if they're not ready to take action today, we'll be here ready for them when they are. And and homeowner referral is a large piece of it. So the lovely woman on the right is one of our seismic customers, and we did a small little reach out and touch someone campaign where we went door to door and delivered care packages directly to customers so that they keep that word of mouth going and refer their friends and neighbors back to Inhabit. Okay, so some of the new things that we're trying, and again, I'm cognizant of time, so I'll run through these quickly, but of course you'll have access to the presentation. I'm going to talk a little bit about the AdWords work that we're doing. We've talked already a lot about product focus. I'll give you some examples. The lead nurturing that I've mentioned. We've got new content generation and web enhancements, and then I'll just touch briefly on some employer engagement ideas that we're exploring. So again, a lot of detail on this slide, but this is really just a snapshot I want to explain. After every event that we go to, we automatically capture contact information so that we can continue to communicate with them. And so we have a number of different, what we call welcome series and emails, where every few days we send out an email that reminds customers that we're here, and we give them a little bit more information about us or opportunity to engage with us, take the quiz, download a piece of material information that they might be interested in. And each of the series that we send out always ends with a suggestion to sign up, fill out an application, or as we get more into the robust phone consultations, we'll be encouraging that as well. So it's still a little early to see, we don't have a robust amount going out, but you can see if you pay attention to the open rates, these are highly significant, very robust open rates. It's an indication that they remember us, they're interested. What we need to work on is the click-through rate and, of course, the conversion. PR continues to be, again, when we have news, we do a really good job of getting the word out, and our news efforts do generate leads. So some examples of what we've done March and April, the seismic push generated another almost 200 people on a seismic wait list. We've done a little bit of solar press in the Rogue Valley that has generated good awareness and lead traction for True South Solar, our solar contractor there. As you know, we discussed this last month. We're involved in a health study. We got some great press and traction that helped to fill the homes necessary for that pilot. So anytime we have an opportunity or some milestones to share, it really, that news gathering strategy does a good job in generating homeowner interest. So I think where that's relevant for you all, please feel free to share information. As an example, Green Savers, when they won an award around kind of their ranking as high-performing contractor. We share that news. We push it out. It's a great way, again, to reinforce, and we're happy to collaborate with you all on that. We will have another milestone coming up. We've identified our 5,000th completed home upgrade, and we think we can get some press out of that in May. I'll report back on that in June when we meet next. Okay, now I want to get into, again, a little bit of AdWords. This may be more information, but it's really interesting to me because this is really where the competitive space is. And keep in mind, you know, as a nonprofit, the good news is we get access to a lot of free resources and the ability to bid on keywords that customers are searching for. The bad news is that we're competing for market rate organizations that are also looking for the same keywords. So we've had to really deploy a very specific strategy so that we can continue to get the customer traction. So in Q1, we spent a lot of time researching top customer interests and searches, and we have bundled those up into active keyword searches. So we've got thousands and thousands of words and phrases that people are looking for. Then we have to connect that to AdWords sets. So anytime someone is searching for something online that resonates with what we have to offer, you know how it goes, right? The AdWords surfaces. But what brings it home and what the trifecta is having the relevant content on your website. And so anytime those three things are working together, we have actually the ability to surface higher in a search than other organizations. So we will continue to invest in this. Again, it's a lower cost way to keeping our name and service offering out there, especially when we have tools to back it up. So this would be an example of one of the landing pages. If someone is searching for things related to earthquake, seismic, they'll find us, they'll click on this, and we call this a lead magnet. So the idea is we want to capture that information. What we have been experiencing previously to this work is we had a lot of traffic coming to the website, but a very high bounce rate. So people were coming in, but they weren't staying long enough because the content wasn't matching up with what they were looking for. So we're really focusing on tightening that up and improving the customer experience. This is an example, again, of this. This is what they get. They get this homeowner guide to earthquake preparedness. So it's another way of bundling a bunch of information and resources in one place, reminding them that Inhabit is a go-to. This is an example of the health and safety combo. We're directing people to a special landing page where they have the ability to sign up for an indoor air quality consultation. I was a guinea pig. I went through the whole process, so I spent time on the phone with Jason, who did a quick assessment of what was going on in my home. He visited the home and brought the air advice. We left it there for a couple of days. He then met with me after to give me a download on what was going on in my home, and then made some recommendations to a contractor who I am currently working on some solutions with. So that's how it's supposed to work. We'll have more information as we get further along in that pilot. Further on this content generation and lead magnet idea, we spent some time putting a really low-cost video together. If you want to see the video, it's on our website. Just go to the blog. It profiles a number of different homeowners and their experience going through different solutions in their home with Inhabit. So it touches on all of our services. It's personal testimonials from homeowners. Homeowners like seeing themselves and their problems reflected and their friends and neighbors. Our first video launch, 50,000 views. So again, name is getting out there. We just still need to work on conversions. And then I've already talked about the emergency preparedness guidelines, which is a hot item in requests when we go out to events. So what do we have looking ahead? We are looking at ways to engage employers in offering Inhabit services to their employees as a subsidized benefit. It's a little early to report out. We did have a meeting with an employer yesterday where we got some early indication that this might be interesting to them. You know, the good news for us is we have a way to touch a lot of employees at one time instead of going one-to-one. It's also because it's subsidized by an employer, it's more cost effective. So as more details come together on this, we'll let you know how you can engage on that. Okay, and then finally, I just want to wrap up and make sure that you guys are aware of resources tailor-made for you. The first thing is also a bit of news. We just have received approval of our sponsorship. We are now a Home Performance with Energy Star sponsor. What does this mean for you? It just means closer affinity to an Energy Star brand that's already well-defined and has a lot of resonance in the mind of the homeowner. It provides another bit of credibility and differentiation to sell services into the home. Both Inhabit and qualifying contractors have the ability to promote the brand and include it on materials. We'll be making some modifications on our website and our informational materials so that we can tout that as we're out talking to customers. And then, of course, I think many of you already meet the required certifications in building science standards, and all of those details will be and are reflected in the Inhabit participation agreement, which is a resource that you can find on the contractor portal. So this is something we're in the process of continuing to build out for you. It's intended to be a one-stop resource for everything from marketing tools to policy changes, special resources. All the trainings and updates and contractor calls will all be housed here. So you just need to go to contractors.inhabit.org if you missed a call, if you want to look up some specific detail about a policy, everything will be here. And then finally, I want to touch on, we have made some changes to our value partner web pages. So this is just one snapshot example. It's a way to bring the contractors that we work with more front and center in a really easy to navigate page. So if you go to the partner page, you can click directly on any of our contractors. And you'll note that we've also embedded the ability in one snapshot. You can see right away where the contractor is, their contact information. You can schedule directly. And then it also, a page down, gives all of your certifications and brags and your service area specialties. So again, just another way to enhance visibility.
Great. Thank you, Steph. I'm going to keep us moving along quickly here as we are almost at a half an hour right now. So operations, MJ.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. So basically, just want to give a quick update on Threshold. We've been talking about it for the last little while, but our goal was to have all contractors exposed in migrating towards Threshold by the end of April, and we have met that goal. So thank you for working with Ryan and Danny and Jason to make that happen. We received a lot of great positive feedback on the tool, and Greg continues to iterate and improve the tool based on the feedback that he gets, so please keep it coming. You know, the whole reason why that tool is working as well as it is because of the feedback that we've gotten and having Greg there to build it. He's very intuitive to the needs of what that tool needs to do, so it's been really great and effective. So the most efficient and effective way to use Threshold is to use it on your mobile device and use it during your in-home visit. This past week, Tim was asking me some questions about the benefits of Threshold and how much time it can save, and I met with the HPAs to just have a quick conversation about that. And basically, they were reiterating that, you know, by far, if you're able to collect the information on your mobile device at the time that you're in the home, instead of taking notes and then having to reproduce those notes in Threshold later, all of those things save time when you're actually inputting the information directly into the device. And I just want to reiterate that the great thing about the tool, too, is as we've been migrating some contractors onto Threshold who currently have their own in-house tools as well, the great thing about Threshold is it also helps us kind of suck in, if you will, information from some of those in-house tools, so then we can always be on that continuous stream of information. I think that was the biggest downfall with the workbook, was that we didn't have that kind of continuous stream of information that was always real-time, dynamically being updated, and that's what Threshold allows us to do, so it's a time saver for everyone. Inhabit's also continuing to move forward with its plan to migrate away from Optics to Salesforce this summer, so we're full speed ahead, and I'm heading up that charge with Greg and a lot of other key players in our organization, and so we're quite excited about that change as well. The systems updates, as I've mentioned in the past, are aimed at increasing operational flexibility and reducing overhead incurred managing Inhabit projects, not only for us, but for you all. So that was really what was behind trying to pull together Threshold, as well as what we're trying to do with our new platform in Salesforce. We'll keep you posted as the cutover approaches, but the majority of your project interaction in the future will continue to be through Threshold, and then the idea is that that information systematically populates pertinent information into Salesforce, and that enables the Inhabit staff to then project manage the opportunities through Salesforce. So more details to come, but the idea is not to all of a sudden have everybody be on Salesforce to manage projects. It's to make sure that Inhabit continues to bear the administrative brunt of managing projects and helping move those along and making it as easy and systematic for everybody else involved as possible. Like I said, we look forward to the change and the added flexibility that it'll provide. All of you should have received a reminder from a training that I've organized with Northwest Natural concerning gas shutoff valve training. It will be held at their offices on 2nd Avenue on 5/20 at 7:30 in the morning. If you haven't received the calendar invite from me, please let me know, because I am trying to get people to accept those calendar invites so that I can get an accurate head count for Northwest Natural. So this is a really cool thing that I want to make sure people, it sounds like there's been really good, this has been well received within the contractor group, but what's been really great here is Northwest Natural and Inhabit want to get on the same page regarding expectations with gas shutoff valve installation, and the fact that they're willing to provide this training to our whole network is really, really great. And so we'll talk about the proper installation, what the code is, what's expected, et cetera, so that we can all be on the same page when homeowners are calling Northwest Natural or calling around trying to figure out what they have to do when they want to have this type of installation done in their home. And obviously, with all of the attention on seismic, there's been a heightened awareness around retrofits as well as installing gas shutoff valves, as some of you have already been experiencing. So again, if you've got questions about that, please feel free to contact me directly. It'd be my pleasure to either forward that invite to people that you want to attend or forward the information to you. Inhabit's continuing to also address seismic demand in Portland through FEMA and non-FEMA projects. And then the last thing I wanted to update folks on is we are also partnering with the University of Oregon in an IAQ study using Inhabit weatherization projects in that study. And so the University of Oregon landed a grant to basically do a study on homes pre-weatherization, post-weatherization, and then a year later to basically see what happens in the house and gather information on the effects of doing weatherization in a home. And so they are partnering with us for us to basically feed them homes that they could use to do these studies with, and then they're basically comparing a house that goes through weatherization against a house that does not. So that is in full swing as well, and nicely dovetails into our already in process IAQ initiatives. And that is it.
Great, thanks, MJ. I'm just going to take 1 second to introduce one of our newest contractors into the Value Partner Network with us. That's Cascade Northwest Construction. Andy McBride, one of the owners of the company, absolutely skilled, contractor, focused primarily right now as a specialty contractor for us with seismic. But I wanted to get Andy's information out to everyone so that you all could welcome him in. If you had projects that are complicated or you needed help and support with seismic, Andy's one of those folks that could help in this way. So here's some information on Cascade Northwest. I'm going to try to just highlight folks each month as we move through, whether they're new contractors or our existing ones. I just wanted to take a minute to introduce you all to Cascade Northwest. I hope that the Guild reaches out to Andy and talks to him. So Don, if you're on the call, here's some great contact information for Andy. And Andy, thank you for joining the team. Moving along here for quality systems, Irie's going to kind of cover for Jason here today. We're going to keep moving quickly because we're past our time, but I wanted to spend 1 second here and just share this with everyone. This is Jason enjoying the addition of his child to his family, and so he is not with us for a couple weeks. enjoying the change to his family. So send Jason and his family well wishes. I know a lot of you are close friends with Jason, so there you go. Irie, can you take us through some numbers?
All right, so Q1 QR results. So right now we're at an overall pass rate of 81% for January, February, and March. So we have met a goal of 80% pass rate for Q1. If you want your individual business results, go ahead and just contact the HPA team, myself, Brian, and we can get that information out to you.
Here's the data for you. Just a quick glance, as Jason shows you every month with this. So great work, exceeding the goal of meeting 80% right now. And as Ari said, please reach out to any of us and we can give you your individual metrics.
So we are transitioning away from 100% on-site QRs, and throughout the timeline, an Inhabit client will receive at least one type of QR by an HPA, but there's 3 different pathways available to a homeowner for a QR. And here they are broken out. It would either be on-site, which is the pathway we're currently employing, either remote QR, which would entail just a phone call to the homeowner, making sure everything seemed good and that they're happy with the work, and then an in-progress QR, which would be on-site during construction, just to see things on path for completion.
And Jason's been leading up this effort and will continue to manage and lead this effort. And so he will be working with all of you closely throughout the timeline process. So here's the timeline for y'all. The goal is transition beginning in May. We're going to be fully transitioned by the end of July is the goal and objective here. So I'll take this real quick. Just Techie Brecky's coming up May 12th. The OSHA confined spaces. So you've all received Eventbrite invites for this. There'll be more of those coming out to you. Please join us for that event. And then on June 9th, coming up, indoor air quality monitoring sales. All of you know Jeff Mounts. Jeff is now with Air Advice, and he'll be coming in and talking a little bit about what we're doing with the pilot and then the product that Air Advice has.
All right. So project of the month is a project done by Good Energy Retrofit. It was a home that needed a ton of work. It's a 1940s home, oil heated. They had an original panel with 2 sub-panels, an old forced oil furnace. The entire shell was uninsulated. And so we just looked to kind of improve their thermal envelope and then get them off of oil heat. It's just really expensive fuel source for them and their family.
And Chris, I unmuted you as well, so I believe this is one of your projects. So if you want to chime in too as we walk through this, feel free to.
Sounds great. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thanks.
Hi, Chris.
Good. All right. Hello, everybody.
So the primary pain points for the homeowners were they just really were uncomfortable in the summer and the winter. And because of the original panel, the homeowner, it was overtaxed, and so they had to constantly be changing out fuses in the middle of the night if something blew. They had to go down to the basement and manually make those changes. Very drafty home, like I said, uninsulated, and then just trying to bring down their fuel costs by switching over to natural gas. Chris, do you want to talk a little bit more about kind of the conditions of the home at Tustin?
Yeah, these guys, they just needed everything. The project that we ended up doing was a pretty basic, straightforward project, not real sexy, but just really solid. We got their house, I think, in really pretty good shape. But their master bedroom is upstairs in the attic, and it was like indoor camping up in that bedroom. And in the winter, it was just absolutely freezing cold. The summer, it was ridiculously hot. They had, their fiberglass insulation was, flowing through the walls a little bit that they had in the knee wall attic. It just flow through all the cracks. It's really, really uncomfortable. And then their infrastructure was in pretty poor shape. So anyway, go ahead and talk a little bit about what we ended up doing, and then I'll talk a little bit more about that as well.
So we were able to put in a high-efficiency gas furnace upgrade their electrical service and panel to the city, insulate the entire building shell, and as well as do a pretty extensive air sealing job. We cut the leakage down by about 50% in the home, which was huge for them. And they live on a really busy street, so the insulation made a huge difference as far as traffic noise for them. He said, I can still feel a big truck going by, but I just can't hear it. So definitely made a huge difference for them in their home. And now they don't have any issues heating the home. It's a lot more quiet, like I said, and it feels more like a house or a home, or sorry, it feels more like a home than a house after all the work is done.
Yeah, this was one of those projects that their knee walls and their attic slopes were made with just planks. So basically, we had to seal those walls up. We went in there and we masticed every single seam. The slopes themselves were this kind of thin board, not sheetrock, and so that was challenging to work with. And so it went from a pretty subpar space up to something that was really functional for them. And they were really pleased too. Once we changed out their electrical service, the city came by the neighborhood a week later and was about to force them to do it. So they were really happy to get that taken care of. So anyway, it's super great family. Felt really good to help them. They had just a high level of need, and I feel like we made a big difference in their life. So thanks for the opportunity.
Nice work, Chris. Thanks for sharing with us this month. We really appreciate it, and always appreciate your hard work out there with the homeowners we all work with. So thanks. I want to take 1 second. There's one question, and this is directed to MJ with regards to the earthquake gas shutoff valve training. This is from Peter of Abacus, just wanting to know if that is going to include hands-on technical training.
What do you mean by that?
Cutting and threading gas lines, proper torquing, tools, and materials needed.
I can ask that question. I'm not sure. I don't have the answer.
Peter, we'll get an answer for you and follow up via an email directly to you. But I would highly suggest going and asking those specific questions, even if it's not part of the hands-on. Just come. MJ's worked incredibly hard to structure this training, and I think it's a value to everyone. So, make it there if you can. All right. Doesn't look like there's any other questions. Thanks for the long call today, a little bit longer than normal. Y'all have a great Friday. Looks like it's going to be a great weekend. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you in a month. Thank you very much, everyone.